everybody? Lord Tremendous here. Got another battle report here for you. 2,500 point battle with the Undead Legion rules, which is always fun. But it's me, Lord Tremendous of the Tomb Kings, versus Death Holy Death, my Dark Elf nemesis.
Assemble the army!
Here's my list, and there are a few small changes. I have my Tomb King, Bone Lord Tremendous. He's still on the War Sphinx with Fiery Breath, Shield, Sword of Might, Armor of Destiny, Dragonbane Gem, and the other Trickster Shard. And now I have my High Lich Priest, Queen Elizabeth, who's a level 4 wizard, Staff of Sorcery, Laura Nehekara. I put her back in because now that you can use 50% lords and 50% characters, I was like, yep, she's going back as a level 4. And I gave her the Staff of Sorcery alone just because that's really all she needs. Now that she doesn't cause my army to crumble anymore, it's like, all right, so I don't really need to protect you. We can keep you out of combat and out of harm's way as best I can. But yeah, you're my magic phase, so congratulations. My hero choices are a Tomb Prince, Dark Vincent with a great weapon, armor, silvered steel, and the Luckstone. Lich Priest, Sinister Jeffrey with it was a level 2 wizard with a Dispel Scroll and the Laura Nehekara. No, I'm sorry, he's got the Laura Light, not Nehekara. And then I have my Necrotech back, and now he's actually got some magic gear. I gave him the Dragon Helm again and the Iron Curse Icon because why not? My core choices are a unit of 58 skeleton warriors with full command, light armor shields, 14 skeleton archers with full command, and 3 skeleton chariots with a banner, musician, and banner of eternal flame. My special choices are a unit of Hex Race with a unit champion because I had 10 points, and I like the ethereal units. I have one spirit host because currently with this list, that's the only way I could. Well, that's the only amount of spirit hosts I could take. They're 45 each, and I literally had 48 points, 49 points left, so I threw a Spirit Host in there. I like ethereal units. I see how they're a pain in the butt, and they have 4 wounds. So screw that. They're in the list. And then I still have my 3 Medusa Stalkers, because I loves them. My rare choices are my Hyro Titan, Nad the Protector, a Screaming Skull Catapult, which I'm starting to fall out of love with, I gotta be honest with you, and my Casket of Souls, which I still love. I did not get Death's list. Kind of a lot happens in this battle report. There was a lot going on, and honestly, I just did not think about it. You'll see what he's got for the most part. You've seen him play. Here are my spells, which pretty much consist of what you're looking at. And here are death spells, which also consist of what you're looking at. Here's deployment, and let me go ahead and just start off by saying I apologize for the quality of the pictures. I have no idea why this yellow tint is happening. One of the lights over our head was out, so maybe that had something to do with it. Maybe I should have used a flash, but I didn't realize until I was putting the battle report together that I had this weird tinge thing going on, so sorry. You can still pretty much see what's going on. But as you can see, I castled up, or turtled, or whatever you want to say, denied flank. But yeah, I just castled up. I just wanted to keep him away from me as long as possible, and hopefully my magic and my shooting would do the best. And to be honest, I wanted to buy time because I was a little concerned that my dice weren't going to roll very well because, well, let's face it, past 4 out of my 5 games, my dice have rolled pretty crappy. And I have swapped them out and everything like that, but I was nervous. But as you can see, my Hex Race vanguarded up into the middle because I wanted to either go after his Bleak Swords or his Witch Elves because I know his BSB was in there, but his BSB I thought usually had a great weapon. He's got his caster in there. I thought it would be good to go that direction. Or maybe if I get a hold of his fast cab. Whatever he threw in front of him, I was going to try to dive into because that would be fun. The chariots were on the left flank just because if anything got close to them, they would charge it and hopefully destroy it. My catapult and my skeleton warriors and my archers are all, mostly in the center with the casket way in the back because if it dies, I want it to be way in the back, so it's like one of the last things. I have my spirit hosts, which are currently represented by my little troll-looking thing on the right side there. He's over there on the right flank just in case those warlocks get any ideas. And then I have my Titan, and he's there just in case anything gets close enough to either Shem's Burning Gaze or charge. He's still a Strength 6, Toughness 6 giant, so he could do some damage. Other than that, I had my Tomb King on the War Sphinx right next to the Skeleton Warriors because I really didn't have any intention of charging into him. I was going to wait to see where he went and adjust my plans from there. Here's Death's right flank, which consists of his Bolter on that back hill there and a unit of Warlocks. Here's his center, which consists of his Dark Riders, Psycho Elf, his Witch Elves, a unit of Bleak Swords with BSB, and level 4 Tessa, who was Lore of Life, I believe, in that unit. And here's his left flank, which consists of his Blackguard with Lydia and a level 4 Lore of Dark Magic Lilith in there, and then another unit of Warlocks. And here's my army, which consists of my Chariots, my Hex Race, my Catapult, my Tomb King in a War Sphinx with Fiery Breath, because I love the War Kitty. And then, of course, I've got my Skeleton Warriors with Necrotech and Tomb Prince installed. Behind them are some Archers with High and Low Lich Priest, my Casket, and in front of them are a unit of Spirit Hosts being proxied by that little troll-looking thing, and my Hyro Titan. Here's top one after movement, and I got to go first. And you know what? I moved up just a little bit just to kind of like spread out and get some angles. I also moved the Hex Race up slightly so that if he tried to charge with his Bleak Swords or his Witches, I knew there were magical attacks in there. I didn't really know what he was going to try to do. I was going to try to get stuff in front of me, though, so I could run through it. And if anything did hit the Hex Rays and kill them, I wanted to be able to charge it with my Tomb King and a Kitty because I wanted to be able to kill it. Other than that, yeah, my Skeleton Warriors move up slightly, my Archers move up slightly, and my Chariots just kind of reposition themselves. Other than that, everything pretty much stays still. During the magic phase, I'll be able to get Bubble Ward off, which is nice. Everything within 12 inches has 5-up ward save, which I think mainly consists of my Skeleton Warriors and a handful of stuff. And then I 6 dice the Casket, and it goes off irresistible, which is awesome because all the benefit, none of the negative. And I end up hitting his Warlocks with it, and one of them dies, which is nice. And then it bounces over to his Dark Riders, and 3 of them buy it. They do pass their panic check, but hey, you know what? I'm lowering the amount of fast cav he has, and I feel good about that. With all the fun done, we go over here to bottom of 1 after movement, and the Elves move up. Go figure. He kind of does the surround technique. He doesn't commit to anything, doesn't charge anything yet, but he does do the surrounding maneuver, and that's interesting. As you can see, his Dark Riders kind of move all the way over to my left flank. His Warlocks don't really move at all, but his Witch Elves, his Bleak Swords, and Psycho Elf all move up to kind of give the the Hex Race their choice. And I got to be honest here, I was toying with either going into the into the Witches, or possibly just running the Hex Race through Psycho Elf and hoping to do some damage to him. I wasn't really sure, to be honest. I probably should have went through Psycho Elf, but I wasn't sure if I would be able to get through him. Remember, I'm further than 12. Well, maybe I wasn't further than 12 inches, but it was a debate. It was a debate thing. And then, of course, his Blackguard and his Warlocks move up on my right flank because he needs to get into combat with me. Nothing else happens during his turn. His magic is pretty much... I think he gets Power of Darkness off on his Blackguard, and that's pretty much it. He tries to 6 dice Dwellers Below onto my Skeleton Warriors. He gets it off, but I scroll it, and his shooting phase doesn't do anything, so... We go over here to top of 2 after movement, and my Stalkers come on the table, and I made a mistake. I made a mistake with their placement. I should have moved them somewhere else. It was stupid that I did this, but I did it. I put them actually in front of, well, they scattered slightly, but I did move them in front of Psycho Elf with the hopes of putting 1 or 2 wounds on it, maybe even killing him. The Hex Race ended up charging his Bleak Swords because I didn't think that his BSB had a magic weapon or his little level 4 character or his unit champion. I didn't think he had a magic weapon in there. So I figured I could get in there and just work on killing his caster because I didn't want Dwellers Below to go off on me anymore. That's a very dangerous spell. If it goes off, my Skeleton Wars are pretty much going to be just gutted. So I thought, go in there, kill his BSB maybe, kill his character, lose the Hex Race, but get 2 characters for it. That would be great. Meanwhile, my Tomb King just kind of positioned himself in case his Psycho Elf does charge. If he survives and charges my Stalkers, he kills them, and then I can charge into his flank, or maybe even just his front with my Tomb King on the Sphinx. That would be great. The Chariots reposition themselves to shoot at the Dark Riders because I didn't want to be pulled away from my left flank there and expose everything to his fast cav because that would be dangerous. Plus, I figured his Dark Riders would just run. So I was feeling nervous about that. And then, yeah, my Skeletons move up. Titan moves back a little bit, and the Spirit Host move up because if someone wants to charge a Spirit Host, that's fine. They're ethereal, so there's a chance they'll survive. Here's a better picture of my Hex Race slamming into his Bleak Swords, and I was feeling pretty good about that one. I won't lie. Nothing happens in my magic phase because my dice are starting to turn on me, but in my shooting phase, my Chariots shoot at his Dark Riders, and I'm able to kill 1. which is great because he panics. And I won't lie to you, he never rallies. He runs right off the table, and good for him. Then over here during the shooting phase, the archers, I think like 5 or 6 can see the warlocks, and they end up killing one of them, which is excellent. I was happy about that. But in my shooting phase, my stalkers shoot at Psycho Elf 18 times. And granted, I need 6s to wound. I only roll 1 6. The amount of 1s and 2s I rolled were actually kind of disturbing. It wasn't even close. Of course, he makes his ward save no problem, but yeah, that kind of marked the end of my dice in this one. Sorry if you don't like, if you see it as a spoiler, but it's actually kind of rough. It's my dice really turn on me right here. Over here in combat, the Hex Race get obliterated. Turns out that his BSB has the Sword of Might. I should have asked if he had a magic weapon in that unit before I charged him. I made a stupid mistake. It'll happen again. It's kind of my MO. But yeah, his BSB had the Sword of Might, killed 3 of my Hex Race. The remaining 1 unit champion got into a challenge with his unit champion, which of course his unit champion got killed, but so what? I literally did 1 wound to him. And the 1 remaining Hex Ray did try to put a wound on Tessa and failed. So, yeah. They exploded. Should have put him into the Witch Elves. Should have ran him through Psycho Elf. There's a million things I should have done better here. This was completely and totally my fault, and I take full responsibility. It was a stupid move, and I got exactly what I deserved. So, after verbally backhanding myself in my mind, we go over here to bottom of 2 after movement. And there's a little bit. Psycho Elf charges into the Stalkers, which I expected. And it's what I shouldn't have put him there. I know it. I know. It was really stupid that I did that. But I did. And I have no excuse other than it was really stupid. His witches move up slightly, his bleak swords pretty much stay back, and his bleak swords move up to the edge of the forest and dare me to charge him. That's pretty much it. There's a better picture of Psycho Elf slamming into my stalkers, and this was my fault. When you're gonna play stupid, you're gonna get stupid things to happen to you. I deserve this. During the shooting phase, his bolt thrower takes careful aim and pummels one of my chariots right off the table, which was impressive, all things considered. And then over here in combat, yeah, I'm an idiot and got exactly what I deserved. He does, like 5 wounds altogether to my stalkers, killing 1 outright and then putting 2 on another. My stalkers, of course, don't do anything back because my dice have completely turned on me. I mean, I can't roll average at all. The amount of 1s and 2s I was rolling, I mean, everybody watching the game was like, oh my god. I was like, I know. And so, yeah, my stalkers get obliterated by Psycho Elf, and that's going to happen. You know, I made a mistake, and my dice have turned on me, so... even if my dice hadn't turned on me, I kind of deserve this for making this mistake. I know. Put it in the comment section. Feel free. You know what? Next up, we go over here to... Well, we'll go over to top of 3 in a moment, because first, I have something I want to show you.
This was how I broke the best. Indifference, overblown confidence and ignorance. It all made sense. And then I watched them take the test. I believe it's better to inflict than to attempt relief. You ask me what you need. Hate is all you need. Hate is all around. Find it in your heart and every waking sound. On your way to school, work or church, you'll find it. It's the only rule. Build a different world. Hate will help you find what you've been looking for. Hate is everywhere, inside your mother's heart, and you'll find it there. You ask me what you need. Hate is all you need. This was overcome. You ask me what I've seen. Hate is all I've seen. Hate is in the air. Come on, people, feel it like you just don't care.
Yeah, that was actually something that Death Holy Death had planned for a while now, and well, you know what? Why not? It was fun. So we go over here to top of 3 after movement, and I charge. And yeah, I needed 8s, I think was the highest I needed to roll to make my charges. My chariots charge of witches because honestly I'm getting a little desperate now, and they make it. My Tomb King charges Psycho Elf and rolls Snake Eyes for his charge, which was great. Then my my skeletons charge his Blackguard, and my Hydro Titan charges his Blackguard. The Tomb Kings needed an 8, and the Hydro Titan needed a 6. The skeletons ended up rolling a 4, a 3, and a 1, which was excellent. And my Hydro Titan ended up rolling a 5, I believe, and also failing. Yeah, that was awful. Absolutely terrible, actually. Devastatingly terrible that all occurred. So now he's got real easy charges on everything. I'm completely exposed, and yeah. So thank you, Dice. I appreciate it. The Dice Gods suck. May they rot in hell. And yeah, other than that, my Spirit Hosts move up just in case the Blackguard get froggy and charge into my Skeleton Warriors. Maybe I can, I don't know, charge him into the flank and just hopefully beat him down for a little bit. Maybe save the Skeleton Warriors. I really didn't know what I was going to do. The Archers move up to stay behind the Skeleton Warriors because hope, and everything else just prepares to watch what happens. I'm just at this point I'm devastated. There's a better picture of my skeleton chariot slamming into the witches, and at least they made their charge. And I know this isn't a great charge. I know that. I send them in there to just damage the witch elves the best I could. Catapult's not really hitting. Magic isn't doing its thing. The chariot slam into the witches, hoping to do a little bit of damage to them before they get obliterated. With a little luck, he'll flub, but we'll see. And here's the multiple failed charges. It's hard to see, but my Tomb King that was supposed to charge Psycho Elf missed by a mile. He rolled Snake Eyes. My Skeleton Warriors, I mean, that's where I ended up. Titan, that's where he ended. It was just jaw-dropping how bad I was rolling. Because at this point, Death actually looks at me and goes, wow, man, you should just buy new dice. And he's right, but I've always had this problem. I don't know why. It comes in spurts. Like, I'll just have terrible dice luck. Like, just raw awful luck, and it happens. And I've spent hundreds of dollars on dice, and that's why I bought the dice that I currently was using, as well as the tremendous dice, everything like that, so I wouldn't keep spending money on new dice every few months, because it wasn't helping. It's not the dice, it's apparently I'm cursed at some point. I don't know if it has something to do with the alignment of the stars, or if the dice gods are just real pains in my ass, but whatever it is, I'm currently in a funk with the dice, and it is what it is. You just got to ride these things through, and you'll get situations like this. What can you do, right? In the shooting phase, my magic phase is absolute trash. I roll a 3 and a 1, and I don't channel anything. I only get 1 extra dice from the catapult, or from the casket, I'm sorry. And then Death Holy Death is able to channel like 2 dice. So it's like 5 to 5, and he stops everything I try to cast. Because, hey, that's just the way it goes sometimes. But my catapult finally hits. It direct hits right on his Blackguard. I hit 16 of them, and which was nice. But the strength 9 hits and wounds, and then what is it, like 5 more Blackguard end up getting killed, which isn't terrible. It's respectable. Sorry, words are hard when your heart is broken. But yeah, like 5 Blackguard die, or 6 Blackguard die, which is nice. They don't care about the panic check or anything like that. I was just trying to call their numbers a little bit. So yeah, 6 dying out of 16 hits is probably about right, all things considered. So I guess the dice were trying here, but too little, too late, maybe. I don't know. And then my archers shoot at his warlocks, and I'm able to drop another one, which was nice. And they panic, and they run like 11 inches. If he had just run 14, he'd have been off the table, but what can you do? Then over here in combat, the chariots don't do terrible. I end up doing like 9 impact hits, 7 of them wounds, so 7 witches die, and then the rest of the witches just carve up the chariots. They ended up doing a ton of wounds to them. I didn't do terrible on my armor saves. My dice were trying to return, I guess, but I mean, he ended up getting 7 wounds through after all was said and done, which is 1 more than he needed to vape the unit. So I knew that was going to happen. That wasn't actually a shock or anything like that. I was just desperate. And the fact that I killed 7 witch elves was kind of nice. So we go over here to bottom of 3 after movement because And sure enough, his Psycho Elf charges my Tomb King, and that's really it. He didn't charge a Blackguard in because he wanted to Dwellers my Skeleton Warriors, which can't blame him. Can't blame him at all. Meanwhile, his witches pass their frenzy check and move up to just in case they need to flank charge into my Tomb King or into the Skeleton Warriors. The Warlocks move in to deal with my casket and eventually my catapult and then eventually the casket. And his other unit of Warlocks rally and turn to face, which is awesome. There's a better picture of Psycho Elf slamming into my Tomb King because, hey, at least he can make his charges, you know? What can you do? Then over here in the magic phase, it finally happens. He 6 dices Dwellers below and gets it off and vaporizes, I think, 27, 28 of my Skeleton Warriors. Not to mention my Tomb Prince died. The Necrotech survived, but the Unit Champion and the Tomb Prince die. Dwellers. He'd been 6 dicing it for 3 turns. He was bound to irresistibility sooner or later. So, yeah. What can you do? I'm not blaming this on anything. It's just that's the way it goes. You know, I needed to get these guys into combat and just couldn't do it. Couldn't get them in there. And Death did exactly what he should do, and he Dwellered these guys until it finally went through. His miscast was only an 8. Which really doesn't do anything to him. It ends his magic phase, but neither of his casters take any damage because they both have ward saves and they both make them. And yeah, that's it. It was the perfect miscast really because nothing bad happened to him at all except his magic phase ended. But who cares? His magic phase just gutted the only break he had anything to worry about from. And then during the shooting phase, I don't remember what shoots at him. I think it's bolt thrower shoots at my catapult, and he's able to pop one to the crew, and that's fine. They weren't doing anything anyway. Then over here in combat, he hits me twice, and he wounds with Killing Blow. He actually wounds twice too. He Killing Blows one, and then he wounds with the other. The one I'm able to make my save. The other one I fail my 4-up ward save. I roll a 1. And my Tomb King dies. The follow-up attacks from the kitty and with Flaming Breath and everything, I slip 1 wound through on him. He wins by 6, and so I die. Because just the amount of wounds he did. He did 3 wounds to me. I'm sorry, he did 4 wounds to me with the Killing Blow, plus an extra wound got through, so that was 5, plus he charged. I did 1 wound to him. Actually, now that I think, well, yeah, he did 5 wounds to me, and he charged. To the 1 wound I did to him, he won by 5. So yeah, I guess the War Kitty shouldn't have been dead. So I did that math wrong, but it's just like the perfect storm of just bad luck and fail. I didn't think he was going to get Killing Blow. I knew he had it on the charge, but I'm like, he's got 3 attacks. He's going to hit me twice. He's going to wound me, but it's unlikely that he's going to get Killing Blow through. And if he does, I do have a 50-50. So yeah, my Tomb King dies, and I actually don't fault him about this one at all. I'm putting this at the feet of my dice and his dice. You know, it's just what can you do? I blame society. I'm only able to put 1 wound through on him, but I might as well put none at the way it was going. And there you go. In the he overruns, needing an 11. He needed 11 or 12 to hit my catapult, and he rolled an 11. And he hit my catapult, no problem. So it's just like, okay, I don't know what else to do, so I'm just going to play it through and see what happens. So we go over here to top of 4 after movement, and I throw caution to the wind because what do I have to worry about? I've lost this game. Now it's just about body count. The hell with it. So my Skeleton Warriors, thinking that they'd be easier to kill than the Blackguard, go after the Bleak Swords with BSB and Caster. And my hope here is to get a hold of the BSB and the caster and the bleak swords and maybe get those points. That was the hope because I'm just running out of models. I didn't want to go after the bleak swords because I knew he had flank charges after me, and I thought the blackguard. I thought they would be a more difficult fight for him. So I figured the bleak swords, maybe they'll fail, a leadership check if I can kill the BSB. It was a hope against hope kind of thing. Meanwhile, the Spirit Host charge into the Blackguard just to try to keep him at bay. The hope was maybe kill his caster and get some points there, but I really didn't have a plan other than that. The Hydro Titan stays where he's at just for a little bit because I just didn't see the point in putting him into the Blackguard yet. He was just there to buy time for my archers, and with that, I have my casters inside, and that was it. Everything else I have is dead because just the perfect storm of fail. What can I tell you? During the magic phase, I get bubble ward off because I'm desperate, and it's a little something, I guess. So we go into combat, and yeah, the Spirit Host. Spirit Host don't do anything to him. He's got no magic attacks in the unit, so I get nothing back. He's got a rank and a banner. He's got 2 ranks and a banner to my charge. He wins by 2, so I lose by 2. It's okay. I wasn't able to get anything through because rolling 1s and 2s is my thing. Then over here in combat, oh god, my dice. Now, granted, I'm weapon skill 2. Granted, I need 4s to hit and 4s to wound. I've got hatred. I've got everything going for me that I could possibly have without my Tomb Prince being alive in the unit, which, hey, Dwellers Below, what can you do? But I'm thinking it should still be a pretty close fight. No, not even close. He needs 3s and 4s to hit and wound me, and he kills a ton. Granted, he's got a BSB with, Sword of Might and all that, so he needs like 3s and 2s with the rerolls and all that. I get that. But it's ridiculous. I lose 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like 8 friggin' skeletons to his 1. One of his guys dies. That's it. Everything, I failed to hit and wound so badly. So badly. And this is with hatred. I have hatred in this round. My Necrotech is not in combat. I did that on purpose. I failed to hit and wound so spectacularly that death is literally trying to, dude, just buy new dice because that was terrible. I mean, there was guys sitting at the table that don't even play fantasy that looked at my dice rolls and goes, that can't be good. And I was just like, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. So with combat res and everything like that, I lose the amount of skeletons that you see here. And yeah, it's just one of those things. I don't know. Why don't you reform? Why don't you reform? I didn't want to reform because I didn't want to catch flanks, flank charges. So just devastating. Just absolutely soul crushing right now. Then over here in combat, yeah, Psycho Elf is able to take out the catapult, no problem. That's not a shock. So we go over here to bottom before after movement, and you're looking at it. It's the end times. Psycho Elf goes charging off into the flank of my skeleton warriors, or skeleton archers. I'm sorry. The witch elves, the warlocks, they move up to get into the casket and stuff like that. His warlocks move up slightly, and everything else he has is dead in combat or laughing too hard to care. During the magic phase, he's able to get Word of Pain off on the spirit host, which just lowers everything that they have basically down to 1, which I didn't care about. They were dead anyway. And then over here in combat, Psycho Elf, Sinister Jeffrey moves over just to kind of take one for the team, ends up taking 7 wounds or something like that. He does just the most fucking damage he could possibly do to him. It's ridiculous. He does 2 wounds to him, which is all he has, plus 5 for overkill because it was a challenge. Plus charge, plus high ground, plus flank to my banner and a rank. So I lose like 7 more skeletons. It's really painful. But the unit's still there, and they pass their leadership check to turn to face. So at least I'll meet death, in the face. I don't know. I'm grabbing at straws here, guys. I'm trying. Then over here in combat, it's more of the same. My dice, I don't do anything. Not a damn thing. Like literally fail to hit and wound completely. Granted, I don't have hatred this turn. Granted, I'm only weapon skill 2, but I need 4s to hit and 4s to wound. Just like he does. Granted, he's got the reroll and he rerolls 1s. I get that. And his troops are better. Nothing. I mean, I literally swing and miss with every single skeleton. Or fail to wound. It's... You know what? I'm not going to lie to you. I was furious at my dice. Not my opponent. My opponent was doing nothing wrong. In fact, Death wanted to call the game, like, hey, let's just call it. Let's just call it. I was like, no, screw that. Beat the crap out of me. But, nobody was being rude. Everybody was sympathetic. It wasn't like that. But I was furious with my dice. And, I mean, who wouldn't be? Who wouldn't be? And so, yeah, definitely need to make an example out of these things at this point. I'm noticing that. But this is what happens after combat res and everything like that. I lose a bunch more skeletons, and he literally loses nothing. And then over here in combat, once again, I'm not able to hit or wound anything. I'm like ones across the board, so that's not a surprise. But with combat res alone, the spirit hosts explode. But they held the bleak swords up for a couple of turns, so I do like the spirit host, and it's good to know that even when rolling just garbage, they can at least hold up a whole unit of blackguard with two characters, two lord level characters no less, the entire time. So that's kind of nice. So we go over here to top of 5 after movement, and there's really none. The Titan goes into the what's it called? The blackguard. Not because I have any delusions that it's a good idea, but just because why not? The fuck with it, right? I might as well go down fighting. I would have charged with the casket if I could. There's a better picture of the Titan slamming into the blackguard because. In combat over here, the unit champion issues a challenge and gets pummeled for it. I ended up losing combat by 1, so 1 more skeleton dies. But hey, the unit's still there. And then in combat over here, I ended up losing by 1. I take 4 wounds, and I'm able to do 5 to the unit. So the Titan actually really takes a toll on the blackguard. I mean, they're not going to live. Lydia, it was funny. She actually hit all 4 times, like 3 or 4 times, and then rolled 2s to wounds. So that was great. It was nice to see that even Death Holy Death can flub his rolls every once in a while. Not the way I do, but you know what? I'm a veteran when it comes to it. He's still kind of a novice, so at least I can beat him at that, you know? But yeah, I kill 5 blackguard, and I charge to his 4 wounds and rank in a banner. So he's got a musician. He wins by 1. Doesn't matter because I'm an arcane construct. So survival! And then over here, it's more the same. I don't hit or wound at all. No, I take that back. I do 1 wound to the bleak swords. 1 wound gets through, and 1 guy dies. I lose everything that you're seeing there. I'm not even going to do the math. I have 5 skeletons and my necrotech left, and that's it. It's heartbreaking how bad my dice are. I'm literally ready to just set them all on fire. And you know what? I've warned them. I know they're inanimate pieces of metal or plastic. I get that, but these things have rolled so poorly that I think that they're just trying to show me that they are sentient in some way and that they don't like me, which is fine. I have ways of dealing with inanimate objects that don't like me. So we go over here to bottom of 5 after movement, and it's curtains. The warlocks slam into the casket, the witches slam into what's left of my archers, and the rest of the dark elves just wonder when the fight's actually going to start. There's a better picture of his witches slamming into my skeletons, because yes. And there's a better picture of his warlock slamming into the casket because they've got to die. We skip the magic and the shooting phase, go straight into combat, and the casket explodes. It only hits Psycho Elf and fails to do anything. And then over here in combat, yeah, Lydia has no problem carving up the Titan the rest of the way, which is fine. And then, of course, the Bleak Swords. Once again, I do nothing. Not that that's a surprise, but just nothing. And all of them die, and what can you do? And then over here, of course, Queen Elizabeth and all the other skeletons just evaporate without doing anything back, because it is what it is. So, as you can imagine, I'm furious with my dice. Unbridled rage. Korn would be impressed with the amount of restraint I'm showing, and probably a little disappointed. And you know what? It's been 6 games now that I've played with dice, swapping them out and stuff like that, and they failed me pretty much 5 out of the last 6 games. Not entirely the dice fault that I lost my games, don't get me wrong. I had some really good opponents. I made some terrible decisions that didn't help my case at all, but my dice have been a real thorn in my side this whole month, really, and that's unacceptable. You know, there are people that would literally just be murdered for failing at the rate that my dice have failed, and I'm absolutely sick of it. I've finally hit my breaking point. I usually consider myself a pretty even-tempered guy, but I've never been more mad at an inanimate object in my entire life. So I decided to do something about it. Uh, I've warned them. I've pleaded with them. I've tried swapping them out, and they've pushed me to this point. I've had I have no other choice. I have to punish these dice. I have to show them that they're not in charge, that they don't dictate what happens anymore. They are either going to roll average or I'm going to have to punish them. And, well, they're now being punished.
All right, just in case anybody thought I wasn't actually going to do it, my dice, as you've just seen, finally failed me for the last time. These are the dice.
Joined Nagash.
Yes, these are the dice right here that are watching, so everybody can tell that I'm serious about this. I will burn all of you. And here are the dice that were made examples of. That's right, all the dice. We'll get in a little closer. It's a little dark out, but you should be able to make this out. Finally had enough. Finally had enough of their crap. Say hi, Asa.
Hey.
Okay. Wait'll like that. But yeah, that's enough. That's enough. You guys, you had your chance, and Daddy's finally tired of it. So yeah, burn in hell. And all of you that are watching, yeah, you should look nervous, bastards. See this? See this? That'll happen to the rest of the dice too if they don't start rolling average. Alls I ask for is average. Why do you make me hurt you? Why do you make me hurt you?
You made him do this!
You brought this on yourself. Look at him. Look at him over there. Nervous.
Anybody want to step back?
Just don't hit my other dice.
Oh, that was nice. Daddy likes.
And I think it's only appropriate that Death Holy Death helped me out with that one. And if you notice, it's on the ashes of Nagash. Yeah, that's right. Sizzle, you fucking failures. I hate all of you. They look nervous, don't they? Coward bastards. It's been a very fun battle report with all the fire.
Fire is awesome.
All right. I think I...
So, as you just watched, I got tabled. It was a defeat for Lord Tremendous, and I know that it was there was some real bad decisions made early in the game on my part, and I take full responsibility for that. But I'm putting the majority of this at the feet of my dice. As you've seen, I've had enough. I am just so sick and tired of inanimate objects ruining my games. So I do take solace in one thing though. It is the dice. Well, I'm sorry. It is dice that are the cause of what I see. They're causing me to lose games and stuff like that, which I can understand. My decisions are causing me to lose games. The combination of those two. It's not the Tomb Kings. It's not like there's some horrible flaw to the actual army that's causing me to lose games. Like, I did nothing wrong. Just the army failed me. That's never happened yet, with the exception of the friggin' Necro Sphinx. But we'll get to that later. You already know how I feel about him. But yeah, that's what's happening there. So that's a good thing. But like I said, as you saw, I lost everything. I got tabled completely, embarrassingly actually. And I think the Dark Elves just lost some Dark Riders. I don't think I got anything else. If I did, it doesn't matter. I lost. But yeah, really sick of the attitude of my dice. Not a new problem for me, but hopefully tonight the example that I've made out of them, for the survivors, will show them that they are expendable now. That Daddy will hurt you if you fail him. So we'll see, though. I don't know. Hopefully. And if not, well, I hope you guys enjoy watching dice burn. But yeah, when Death Holy Death tells you that it's your dice that is causing you to lose games, it's your dice. This is not you making excuses or whining or anything like that. This is probably just your dice, because he's not real big on sympathy or feelings. It's just kind of like, no, that's completely on your dice there. You should probably torch him. And it's like, yeah, okay, let's do that. Gotta be honest, things were going well at first. I had no problem with the setup. Magic phase was going well. Shooting phase was going pretty well. Things were breaking. It looked good. It looked good. And then I rolled like 18 hits on Psycho Elf with the Stalkers, and they the dice shut off. I don't know why. I don't know what I did or if I did anything or if I'm reading way too deep into this. I'd like to probably think that it's not that. I want to believe that the dice have some sort of intelligence and they felt the fire. I want to believe that. But yeah, just unbelievable how bad that turned on me there. And it's not the first time, so hopefully the dice have learned a thing or two. Charging the Hex Race into the magic wielding BSB was a waste. I wish I had thought to ask if he had a magic weapon in a unit. Completely stupid on my part. Completely my fault. And I've learned. I've learned now that is something. I do still like the Hex Race. I do like this list. I don't have a problem with this list. The list flowed well. I enjoyed it. I just played it poorly in that particular instance, and that's my fault. But all things being equal, if I could have gone back and found out that, oh no, he in fact does not have, or he does in fact have a magic weapon in that unit, I probably would have instead sent the Hex Race into the Witch Elves, or maybe just ran him over the, what's it called? The Psycho Elf and tried to, slip some wounds in that way. Anything would have been better. Absolutely anything. But I made a mistake, and I had to pay for it, and rightfully so. The stalker placement, it was just another terrible, terrible idea. Although it was intentional. I did put them there intentionally to sacrifice them. Their idea was to put a wound or two through on Psycho Elf. If they killed him, even better, but the idea was just to hurt Psycho Elf so that when he did eventually get into combat with my Lord could just kill him. That was the hope. That was the plan. That was the desired effect, and it didn't happen. 18 hits, 1 wound, which he easily ward saved. I could not believe it. Could not believe that happened. But you know what? I should have. I should have taken my dice into consideration. I should have realized that they were going to roll like crap, but they were doing all right. They were rolling average, which is all I need, in the first turn or so. And in turn 2, they were just kind of like, and off switch. So I offed 7 of them. Skeleton Warriors should have done better against the Bleak Swords. Again, I didn't factor my dice into it. I should have at this point, but I was just so devastated. It was like, they've got to do average against the Bleak Swords. I felt that even though they had superior weapon skill and stuff, it was going to be close. No, wasn't close at all. Wasn't even near close, thanks to just my inability to roll 4s. I can't believe it. It still sickens me just thinking about it. Like I said, though, before, I do take comfort in knowing that it's my mistakes and my dice that are filled with fail that are causing my losses and not the army itself. And by the army, I mean the actual Tomb King book. The Tomb King book itself isn't failing me or anything like that. I'm failing the book. My dice are failing me. It's this weird trifecta of fail, which is really starting to piss me off. But eventually my dice will turn around and I'll be able to start doing better. Until then, I hope you guys enjoy watching, things burning and stuff. But yeah, for the most part, I just got to ride this out, I guess, until the dice either turn around on me or the Armageddon finally comes, because I'm really enjoying the Tomb Kings. They're a fun army. They're a great looking army. I don't know if you noticed or not, but I've painted my Skeleton Warriors. I painted them. Me, this guy. I don't paint. And as you can see, there's a reason I don't paint, but don't worry, my wife is going to do all the big models and stuff like that. But I wanted to paint the Skeleton War, so I did. And special thanks to Ashicus the Muse for giving me the paint scheme, the banner, and everything like that. It was just much better paint scheme than what I was doing, so I switched it. And I like it a lot better. The green and white with the hexes and stuff like that, or the squares is really cool. But like I said, I'm still enjoying playing. Still loving Warhammer, still loving the Tomb Kings, and I can't wait for my next game. So that's a good thing, right? That's got to be a good thing. I'm really enjoying the game still, even though my dice are killing my soul. And honestly, if any of you guys know how to get your hands on the Dice Gods so I can beat them into submission, please let me know, because they've got an ass whooping coming. I don't care if they are, omnipotent or whatever. I'm gonna find a way to just beat them down. Maybe some, unholy water or whatever it takes. But I hope you guys enjoyed this battle report. It was definitely a very unique one. I'm sure I'm going to get some hate mail, but that's cool. If you got to vent, you got to vent. But as always, though, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or complaints, feel free to put them in the comment section below, and I will get back to you as quick as I can. But yeah, guys, thanks.